Hey everyone, welcome to my review of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. So bottom line up front, I would recommend it. It's worth your time. I give it an 8 out of 10. So that 8 comes from 2 out of 3 points for the quality of the game. Granted, I played the game relatively close to release, and I believe there have been at least a couple of pretty major patches to the game since I beat it that were focused on performance and quality issues. So hopefully that's been addressed. I never noticed real performance issues. I played it on my Series X, but I definitely encountered some bugs, lots of visual bugs, handful of sort of glitches or things where I couldn't open doors or weird game save states. And the issues happened often enough that it stood out to me sort of as being an issue, and I remember it playing it, however many months ago. But it does appear that they've been making updates to the game, so hopefully that's helped things out. Outside of technical quality, from a production quality standpoint, I thought it was excellent. The voice acting is amazing, the writing is very good, and just the production quality of the game, the sounds in the game, the score, everything else was really good from a production quality standpoint. So 2 out of 3 there, a slight ding for some of those technical issues that really did kind of take away from the experience. 2 out of 3 also for the experience. There's certainly some moments in the game that really feel amazing and that I don't think I've gotten from other games. Running around with a lightsaber, slicing up stormtroopers is awesome. The game also has different combat stances or kind of lightsaber styles, which is a really cool mechanic that I feel like they've built on, and some of the stances are super cool. I won't spoil anything, but even the ability to tailor your play style for a particular encounter. So if you want a slower, more powerful swing or stance compared to a more agile, maybe dual-bladed stance, it was fun to be able to kind of pick and choose that and add more customization to your play style. The one thing, there are some spots in the story and in the game where I felt like pacing was off. There's some areas where it felt a little bit slow, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to move on to the next thing. And then the sort of end chapter of the game, or the last part of the game, a lot of stuff that happened really fast. It felt like there was get all of the focus it deserved. So I did feel like the pacing was off a little bit. And my only actual sort of complaint was one of the probably the most challenging encounter for me was kind of a gimmick encounter where you didn't have your normal abilities or your normal equipment, and everything that you were kind of used to fighting with were taken away from you. And it was a relatively challenging encounter. I wiped multiple times and started to get frustrated before I finally beat it. But that was kind of frustrating and not a super fun experience for me. The rest of the game wasn't very challenging. I don't think that I died at all. If maybe I just had once fallen off a cliff or something, but I would recommend folks to start on the normal difficulty, or if I were to do it again, I would have probably bumped it up to the hard difficulty or whatever the +1 is. Otherwise, was a very fun experience, but because of those complaints, I'm gonna put it at a 2 out of 3. For the return on investment, 3 out of 3, definitely worth your time. It took me about 20 hours to complete the main story pretty much. I didn't do that much exploration or side quests, but the 20 hours were super well worth it, in my opinion. Granted, I'm a big Star Wars nerd, but just running around, as a Jedi in a game with a decent story and a decent combat system was well worth it, in my opinion. The story does some interesting things there too, so even if you're not a big Star Wars fan, I would recommend it to you, because also, swinging around a lightsaber, weaving in force powers, that's got to be satisfying for everybody, I think. Again, I would recommend to rational consumers that Star Wars Jedi Survivor is worth your time. Overall, I give it an 8 out of 10, missing 1 point in the quality department for some technical issues and 1 point in the experience department for some pacing and challenge issues. But overall, I believe it's worth your time, and I certainly enjoyed my time playing this game. Would love to hear what you think, if you disagree, or other experiences you had with this game in the comments.